Hello everybody, get ready to do Pre-Algebra 13-2 today. Part 1, Part 2, Part 3 available here at this email. Today, 13-2 angles and parallel lines. We have a 36-point skill sheet for classwork and then a 20-point notebook guide today, Part 1. And our bell work today, teachers, we have a multiple choice for number 1. And then number 2 is whether to sequence, tell whether sequence is arithmetic or geometric students. So give your students 5 minutes for this one. Okay, welcome back for our solutions. Here is our situation for number 1. So the measure of angle 4 would be 108 degrees. We got a linear pair here. So the correct response would be H for number 1. And then for here we have 1/2. Each preceding member is multiplied by 0.5. So there's your common ratio. This sequence would be geometric because of it. Okay, into our lesson, you've classified special pairs of angles. You'll identify angles when a transversal intersects lines. A line that intersects two or more lines at different points is a transversal. So there's a good, you know that's going to be your vocabulary, students. Be prepared. And this is your class worksheet, page 1, so you're taking this down. When a transversal intersects two lines, several pairs of angles are formed. Two angles that occupy corresponding positions are corresponding angles. Two angles that lie between the two lines on opposite sides of the transversal are alternate interior angles. So this is good vocab here. And then two angles that lie outside two lines on opposite sides of the transversal are alternate exterior angles. So here we have correspondings are 1 and 5, 3 and 7, and then 2 and 6, and then 4 and 8. Those are corresponding. And then alternate interiors will be 3 and 6, and then 4 and 5. Those will be alternate interiors. And then alternate exteriors will be 1 and 8, 2 and 7. And of course you knew this was coming. Here is your vocabulary, students, in your own words. Define transversal and define corresponding angles here. Again, more students, alternate interiors define, and then define alternate exteriors define. Okay, into our first example here, identifying angles. In the diagram of John Hancock Center in Chicago, line T is a transversal. So this would be line T here. You can barely see it, but it is. This would be line T here. This is M, this is N. So tell whether the angles are corresponding alternate interiors or alternate exterior angles. So we have a situation here. Angle 1 and 8. So here's 1 and then here's 8 here. What would those be for these two parallels here? And then here's your transversal. What would 1 and 8 be? They'd be alternate exteriors. And then 2 and 6. 2 and 6 here. 2 and 6. They'd be corresponding angles. And then 4 and 5, 4 and 5 would be alternate interiors. So there will be some definitions here on this example here. Okay, I first got to practice 3 and 6. Tell whether the angles corresponding alternate interiors or alternate exteriors. Pay attention, students, this is yours. So let's do our guided practice first here. 3 and 6 are alternate exteriors. We're going back to example 1. So look on your class worksheet and you can respond to this going from transversals and parallel lines. Here's a diagram here. And then here is all the definitions here. This is classwork sheet page 7. And this describes all of your angles here with a transversal with two parallels here, M and N and T, much like example 1. And then classwork page 8 here, example 2, finding angle measures. We have this situation here with T again and M and N. And what we have here, angle 1 measures 75. So we know the measure here is 75. Find the measures of all the other angles there. So in this situation here, 5 is 75 because 1 and 5 are corresponding. 1 and 5 are corresponding, then they are congruent or they're equal to. So 4 and 5 are 75. Measure of angle 8. Measure of angle 8. Is 75 because 1 and 8 are alternate exteriors. You got 1 and then 8 alternate exteriors. The measure of angle 2 will be 105 because this is a linear pair here. So angle 2 will be 105, and then measure of angle 6 would be 105 because they're corresponding angles here. Angle 6, 2 and 6. Or corresponding, and then angle 3 would be 105 because they're alternate interiors. So see, angle 3 and angle 6 will be alternate interiors, and angle 7 here, angle 7 105 because 2 and 7 are alternate exteriors, and 2 and 7 would be alternate exteriors. Okay, into our next guided practice, find the measures of the number of angles in this diagram here. Students, this is yours here, so you have a little bit different situation. Page 9, your classwork. So our solution here are all of these here. For this diagram here, 4 is 80, 3 is 80, 7 is 80, 1 is 100. So you have linear pairs here going on. And you have alternate angles and corresponding angles here. See 3 and 7. See angle 3 and 4 alternate interiors. 7 alternate exteriors. Do they use corresponding? They do. 1 and 5 are corresponding. And let's see what everything else is alternates. They're alternate exteriors or interiors. The only corresponding they use is 1 and 5. Although this angle and 4 would be corresponding as well. See, but they don't use that for 3 and 4 alternate interiors. So anyway, here's your list here, students. So make sure that you get this down and so that you know what the heck's going on for your independent practice here. And that is a lesson 13.2, part 1, part 2, part 3 is available here at this email. Thank you very much.